hope you had a very fun and festive 4th of July, and now we're into week 4. This week we're going to be doing our emoji cake decorating kit. And as always, don't forget to tag us in your videos and pictures. We want to see all the work you guys are doing. We're so proud of you. Let's look in this kit. Let's go through what we have in our kit this week. We gave you guys some black fondant. That's going to be the sunglasses and the mouth details. The cornstarch is for when you're rolling it out so it doesn't stick to anything. Then we gave you your vanilla cake, the emoji yellow icing, your cake board to ice it on. You have your sunglass stencil, which we're gonna cut out later. And bonus, we gave you guys some mini cupcakes. And guess what? They are chocolate. We love chocolate. Hey guys, so if you picked up your cake kit today, but you don't want to do it just yet, I'm going to tell you how to store it. You're going to stick this entire box into your fridge, and it can be good in there for at least a week. And then you're going to take it out about an hour before you want to decorate it. First, we're going to start with icing our cake emoji. So let's unwrap him. And you see our cake board. If you guys want to flip it over so you're not icing on top of a sticky, just in case it comes off, who knows? Probably won't, but you never know. We're gonna get our yellow icing out. And we're gonna put a little bit on the bottom so our cake can stick to our board. And I'm going to flip my cake towards the bottom. This way we have a nice even surface on the top. Just like that. And now we're gonna take our icing and we're gonna put a good amount on the top first. I always like icing my cakes on the top first and then icing the sides because then you can get a nice even top at the end. So if you see how I'm kind of moving my cake with my knife, that'll help you evenly smooth it out while you're moving around the icing. If you're just staying like this, it's kind of hard to get it round. So you want to try and move it with the knife motion. There we go. It's a nice even layer. Got a little bit more. With that right now. Now we're going to start icing the sides. So you want to keep your knife straight up and down with the cake. You don't want to angle it like that, and you don't want to try and angle it like that because that's going to make the icing go outward and then outward towards the top. And we want our emoji to be nice and straight on the sides. So as best as you can, you're going to try and keep your knife nice and straight while we're doing this. I'm just gonna go around, moving the cake board with the knife. This is gonna help us ice it, make it a little bit easier. Just keep going around. We're gonna do a nice thick coat because we're not giving this a filling. So we want a lot of buttercream on the outside. There we go. Almost done. You don't really want to have any cake showing because this is only getting one coat of icing. So you just want to make sure it's nice and coated. Kind of look around and see if there's any spots that need a little bit more and just add some more. So you don't want it to look like that. Definitely want it to have more icing right there. Moving it. Right. Okay. Now we're going to wet towel. And I'm just going to smooth the sides out. You're going to do this in one even motion. As before, we were kind of going back and forth, but this time we're just gonna go one smooth motion, and that's gonna give us that smooth texture on the outside. Nice and smooth. Always cleaning off your knife afterwards. We're actually going to add just a little bit right here, so I can still see cake. Come back to where we left off and just smooth around cake. There we go. Alright. So I'd say that looks pretty good. So now we're going to clean off our board just a little bit. You're going to take your knife, clean it with our wet towel, and we're just going to take the edge and clean off the board. Don't want a dirty board. There we go. You can also take your wet towel, if you take the edge of it, and just slowly take off the buttercream. And try not to hit the cake because it'll make a mark. You want to get as close as you can to the cake as possible. Just like that. I have a nice pretty cake board for our emoji to sit on. Each time I'm moving my rag around, so I'm not wiping it with the same dirty spot, because if you wipe it with the same spot, you're just going to get more buttercream on the cake board, and that's not what we want. Alright, so now we're going to flatten the top out. So you're going to take your knife, and you're going to go towards you, not away, because if you push away, that's going to make the buttercream fall off the side of the cake. So you're going to take the knife flat and you're going to push it in towards you. And you're going to move it and you're going to push it in towards you. Always move it so the part that you're pushing towards you is in front of you. It'll make it a lot easier to flatten the top out. Always clean your knife off so we don't have any extra buttercream. Push it. There we go. It's looking pretty good. So now I'm going to get down to eye level. And this helps me see if the top of my cake is even. So right now I can see that this part over here and towards the middle isn't really even with the rest of the cake. So I'm just going to get down here and smooth out any little imperfections that I see. So it's nice and even on the top. Oh, you see I kind of dinged it a little bit? That's okay. I'm going to add a little bit more icing. And then we can come back and smooth that part over. Nice flat top. As flat as you can get it. There we go. I'm just going to fill this little part in right here before we're finished. You look a little sad. There we go. Alright, just give it one more check. Make sure it's nice and even. It doesn't have to be super perfect, but you want it as flat as you can get it. I'm a perfectionist, so this is hard for me not to make it very perfect. I think I'm pretty happy with how this looks right now. have a nice base to put our fondant sunglass details on. So we're gonna put this into the fridge for 10 minutes and let it get nice and hard. And while that's happening, I'm gonna show you how to make the details. While the cake is in the fridge, we're going to make our sunglass details for the emoji. We're gonna take our scissors and we're just gonna cut out our sunglasses. Just like that. You wanna try and follow the line as much as you can. You want it to look as close to sunglasses as we can get it. I do a lot of cutting here. I feel like I could, a professional cutter. I should add it to my resume. There we go. Cut off some of the excess. Don't need that. You do want to save this though because we're going to use the mouth portion as well. Keep following the line. There we go. Cut that little portion out. Alright, we're going to throw this away. Keep those. I'm going to use this as a guide. So I'm just going to keep this and put it to the side. So how we're going to do this. We have your black fondant. We usually use rolling pins here, but if you don't have a rolling pin at your house, I'm going to show you how to roll it with either a can of soup. We have whole corn kernels, which is fun. So we're going to use that as a rolling pin. Anything that is a cylinder and you can use to roll will work totally fine. And my table isn't level, so I'm actually going to use the back of a baking sheet to roll this out. But if your kitchen counter is flat, that'll work just as well. So we're going to use our cornstarch. So we use cornstarch here to cut out fondant because fondant likes to stick to surfaces. And when it sticks to something, then you can't get it up and it just gets all ruined. So we gave you a little bit of cornstarch. I'm just going to fluff it up a little bit. And I'm going to put a little bit on my surface here. I'm just going to pat it around. You want a nice surface. Place on your hands. And we're going to unwrap our fondant. I'm going to show you. You're going to have to knead this a little bit because it's been sitting for a while. So this is how I knead the fondant. You don't have to do this on a flat surface, it's okay. You're going to just take it and you're going to fold it into itself. Basically just going to take it and fold it. Take it and fold it. And that's going to make it nice and pliable. Just like that. So that looks pretty good. And I'm going to just roll it into a little ball and kind of flatten it out a little bit. And now we're going to roll it with our corn kernel can. Have our nice surface. I'm going to put a little bit of cornstarch on the top so it doesn't stick to the can. And we're going to take our can and just start rolling it out. You're going to want to turn it because the pressure is going only in the middle, so the outsides are going to be thicker. So when you turn it, then you can get the sides to be the same thickness as the center. And it's okay if it has little striations in it because we're going to flip it over afterwards and you're not even going to see it. So we're just going to flatten it out pretty thin. You don't need it to be very, very thick. You want it to be nice and thin. Constantly moving it, applying even pressure, making sure it's, and we also have to size it up to our sunglasses, make sure that we can cut it out and fit. You want it to be thin because we have to use these for other details as well. So we can't use all the fondant for one piece. We're gonna need it for other pieces afterwards. So this is about how thick my fondant is. It's pretty thin, it's not thick at all. That's about how thick you want it. It's all even around, no weird giant spots anywhere. So now we're gonna flip it over. And now it's nice and flat. So I'm going to take my sunglasses, put it right here, and I'm gonna take my butter knife, and you're gonna use the tip of the butter knife to cut it out. So you're gonna keep 2 fingers on here at all times, or else, you know, it's gonna move everywhere. If you have some shortening at your house, you can put a little bit of shortening on the back of it and it'll help it stick. But if you don't, that's totally okay. We're just gonna use our fingers. So you're just gonna follow the sunglass stencil, making sure that you cut through all the way to the bottom of the surface. So just adjust our fingers so we can cut the top. And just like so. Make sure you're keeping the stencil in the same place every time. And you're just going to cut around with your knife. There we go. We're going to cut some excess away. Don't need that part. I'm going to cut around again. And we're going to cut the top. Alright. And now I'm just going to adjust them with my fingers. And that's it. So we have our fondant sunglasses cut out. So we're just going to put those to the side for now. And we're going to let those dry out just a little bit. It's easier to work with fondant when it's a little dry. So you might be asking, what is fondant? Well, it's basically edible Play-Doh. It's a sugar paste. It works just like Play-Doh. If you ever played with it, it's basically the same texture, except you can eat it. So I'm going to ball my extra back up, because if you let it sit out flat, it'll dry out and it'll get really crunchy and you just can't work with it. So we want it to stay nice and malleable and moist. So I'm just gonna ball it back up, and we're gonna make his mouth now. So I'm gonna just have a little piece of plastic wrap. I'm gonna take off a little piece from here, and then we're gonna cover it with the plastic wrap, and that's gonna help it not dry out. So we're gonna go around, I'm gonna knead it a little bit doing the folding technique that I did before. You're just gonna fold it. There we go. So I'm gonna take the mouth stencil that we kept. I'm actually gonna take a little bit less than this. Put it back under my plastic wrap. And we are going to make his mouth. So we're basically going to make a snake. So I start out rubbing it in between my hands, and then you're going to slowly roll it back and forth, just like so. And if it's too big, which I think it is a little bit too big, we can cut that piece off, put it under our plastic wrap, and now we have a smaller one. And if it's starting to stick, you can always put a little bit more cornstarch down, and that will help it not stick to your surface. So I just take my 2 pointer fingers, and you're gonna make the ends a little bit pointy, and then the middle is gonna be fatter. It's because you see it, the ends are pointy and the middle is a little fatter. And then we're going to kind of size it to our template. And that looks pretty darn perfect. So that is going to be our emoji mouth, and we're going to let that sit there for a little bit as well and then hang out. And so you remember these chocolate cupcakes? Well, these are going to be mini emoji cupcakes. So we're going to make their details now. So we're going to make little sunglasses. I'm gonna take about this much, I think. That should be good. We're gonna knead it again so it's nice and malleable. And then I'm gonna take little pieces off, and we're gonna roll them into little balls. And then we're gonna flatten out the balls. Just like that. And I'm gonna cut them in half. I'm gonna take one of my cupcakes, and they're gonna be sunglasses. Just like that. So we're gonna keep these to the side, and I'm gonna make 5 more sets of those. Keep rolling about the same size ball, and then you're just gonna cut it with your knife right in half. You want to keep them the same size all the way through so they all look nice and even. Keep rolling. Just keep rolling. Just keep rolling. And we have 3. And flat. They'll stuck a little bit. And cut. That's 4. It's a little big. 5. And the last one is 6. Flat. Cut with your knife. And there we go. We're gonna let those hang out for a little bit too. Now we're gonna move on to their mouths. So it's gonna be about the same kind of technique that is, just miniature. So I'm gonna take a smaller little piece, and we're gonna use your 2 pointer fingers and do the outsides pointy and the middle bent. And then you're just gonna kind of bend it a little bit. Just like that. So now we're gonna repeat this 5 more times. So like before, we have a little piece of fondant, maybe a little less. Roll into a ball, and then you're gonna take your 2 fingers, and you're gonna make a little, it's kind of like a snake, but he wants to be fat in the middle and skinny on the outsides. And then you're gonna put it up to the other one, make sure it's about the same size. Take our little ball and roll it up. And bend it. And then take your little ball. Like I said, if it starts sticking, you can always put some more cornstarch down. It'll be a lot easier to handle when it's not sticky. And we're gonna bend it. Try and make sure they're all about the same kind of shape generally. Take your little ball and roll it. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. Oh, that one's a little fat. He doesn't want to cooperate, that little mouth. There we go. And there we go. Our last mouth. Our cake is nice and firm now. You can see when you touch it, you don't have any fingerprints, and that's how you know it's ready. we're gonna decorate him. So we have our little sunglasses. Be careful when you pick it up because it's gonna want to break in the middle because that's the weakest point. So you wanna pick it up with 2 hands, make sure you're supporting it everywhere. And we're gonna place him right there. I think that looks pretty good. Now we're gonna take our mouth that we had hanging out over here and we're gonna put him right on the cake. Look at that cool guy. He's such a cool emoji. So, he looks just like me. So before we start on our mini cupcakes, you may notice that you see a little bit of cornstarch on the fondant. And that's okay. You can try to just use the heat from your fingers. Maybe kind of act like you're starting a little fire with your fingers. And then gently brush it over. And that'll kind of get some of the cornstarchiness out. But as it sits in the, if you put it in the fridge for a little bit, the moisture in it will eat away at the cornstarch and it'll be nice and black. All right, so now we're gonna start on our mini cupcakes. Here we have our cupcakes. I'm gonna leave them in the box because I think they look really cute in the box. It's gonna make a little present. We're gonna take our piping bag that we have, open it up. Set that aside. And we're going to take our leftover icing. You want to make sure not to use all your icing when you're icing your cake because we need some to ice the cupcakes. So I'm just going to get some on my knife. Make sure not to have it fall everywhere. And we're going to fill our piping bag. Nice and full. We want these emojis to look nice and plump. Get as much as we can out of there. There we go. Let's see if I can scrape the last little bit out. There we go. I think that's good enough. Put our knife to the side. Now we're going to cut our hole. We have a nice size hole. You want about this big. We're going to ice our cupcakes. So we're gonna ice this kind of flat so it mimics the bigger cake. If you have a point in the middle, the sunglasses and the mouth isn't gonna fit right on it. So you wanna have it nice and even and flat. So I'm just gonna take one out so I can kind of show you how to do this. So you're gonna start in the middle of your cupcake and you're gonna go towards the outside. And when you get to the end, you're gonna do that little circular motion and it's gonna be nice and flat. So now I'm gonna do that for the rest of my cupcakes. Start in the middle and then go towards the outside. Nice and flat. In the middle, and out, and out. Sometimes the buttercream does that. That's just air in it, and that's okay. It'll still look just as cute as the other ones. And out. All right. Now we're going to decorate our tiny emojis. Big one out of it. Move it closer to our details. So now we have all of our little fondant details. So I'm actually going to put the mouths on first to kind of get it in there. Put all the little mouths on. And you definitely want to decorate these right after you pipe them because you want the decorations to stick. If not, then you're gonna have a hard time getting these little fondant mouths and the sunglasses to stay on your cupcakes. Okay, now we're gonna do our sunglasses. You want them to touch. Ah, look at them, they're so cute. I love it. They're ready for a beach day. a little wonky, but it's okay. They still look really cute. Great. And those are our tiny mini cupcake emojis. Well, we finished our emoji cake and cupcake decorating kit. I wanted to put them on this little platter. They just look so cute, don't they? All their little emoji faces. And now I'm gonna stuff my face with an emoji face. Tastes like summer.